and the head stayed there. I eventually got it back in my possession whenever I bought the cabin from Quanah Sumter, the old family cabin. And, well, I guess we put it down to the clubhouse in the den, in the living room there over the fireplace. And it sat there for many years until, maybe 10 or 12 years ago, something like that. They took it down and put another nicer looking head up there. The deer that we had was kind of spoiling, coming apart. I ended up taking it home, taking possession of it again, and Fred remounted it just with the horns and not any hide or anything. And I now have it in my den. He did that same thing to an elk that he had shot on a trip up there, and an antelope that I'd shot when Marie and I had first moved to Casper.
So how long were you in Casper for after Rangeley?
I was there for about a year. We did a lot of fishing there. We'd go down the middle fork of the Powder River, Barcy Canyon, go in there, go down the canyon, fish in the bottom of the middle fork. And other places I had gone up the Red Fork when I would live there. When I lived in Midwest, I'd gone into the middle, the Red Fork of the middle fork of the Powder River. One time with a guy named Bud Lewis, who was a gang pusher, which is a gang pusher is a supervisor of a bunch of roustabouts. Bud knew the people there, and he got permission for us to. I caught a few fish there. It was good fishing. Never got back there again though. So that was back when I had first got up was working and living in Midwest Wyoming. Let me see. I got to Casper, started doing more skiing. We went to we on the weekends we'd frequently drive up to Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
And the lift there was right in back of town, Jackson. It wasn't anything near like the big ski development they have there now. Sky King Mountain was the name of it, I think. It was very cold. I remember going down one time and my head was burning. The only thing I had on my head was a little ring around my ears. And I thought that my head was going to fall off. It was so damn cold. And it was a steep, pitched mountain. And it was a real agony coming down. You take a big, long 200-yard traverse in one way and then stop and fall down and get up and point it the other way and take another one. Until I could get into ground and a snow that was level enough so I could make a snowplow turn, which is all that I knew how to do. Though we had fun doing that. Bob Bryan was a good skier. He was one of the guys I'd gone to school with at TU. He was an older fellow, fought in the WW2 on an aircraft carrier. And had the aircraft carrier sunk underneath him. He was one of my buddies in Salt Creek. And later he was in my wedding in Tulsa later on. See, where am I now?
How long? Or so you were in Casper for a year, and then what happened after Casper?
Well, at Casper, let me see, tell you more about Casper if I can.
We have a minute left on this right now.
Oh, okay. Well, at Casper, while I was in Casper, no, let me see, that's later on. I got drafted in Casper, and I had to go into the Army then, which I did. I'll try to get the dates on the Army stuff if I can.
Mm-hmm.
That will be the next session. Bought a company car that was used up. Remember that, no?
No, let's start there.
Hmm?
I don't remember that. I remember there's like something with a gun and a car.
Okay, well the gun, I traded the gun for the car. Yeah.
That's right, okay.
That was the 38 Buick I traded.
Yeah.
Marlin model 92, 2536.
Okay. Okay, we're filming now.
So we're filming?
Yeah, go.
Okay, where were we? I was being transferred to, at Rangeley. I finally got, after I was there about a year, I got transferred to Tulsa, to Casper, work in district office there as a reservoir engineer, but still as a junior petroleum engineer. And there I lived in Casper. I lived in a basement apartment with a guy who was a lawyer for the company, about my age, who had the apartment, surface apartment above. And I dated one of the girls that worked in the office there a little bit, nothing serious.
What was her name?
Don't remember.
Okay.
And we sometimes, especially in the wintertime, drove up to Jackson to go skiing. They call it Jackson Hole now, and that's part of the deal, but Jackson was the town, and the ski mountain was right in the back of town. Not across the valley into the Teton Range. There was part of the Grove Mountain Range, I guess. It was back to town. I remember it was one morning I went up skiing, and I was skiing bareheaded. And I had a lot of hair then. I had plenty of hair. I didn't have long hair like kids do now, but I had significant hair. I found out I skied down the mountain once and found my top of the head was burning.
From the sun or from the wind?
No, from the cold. It was down around zero when I skied. So after that, I always wore a hat. My skiing was very primitive. Most of it considered of a long traverse and fall down. Managed to get up, heading the other way, make a long traverse the other way.
And your skis were wooden, right? Your skis, what were they made out of?
Oh, they're all wooden skis. They had uh, edge, a steel edge that was screwed in to the skis. And it wasn't too stable, especially where the two pieces of metal come together to make the edge. So it was very, and I had a Henke Super boots. These are boots that were stiffened by wrapping around a belt of leather belt to stiffen up the boot.
Were they flexible at all, the boots? Was it really stiff?
They were pretty stiff.
Sounds like skiing was probably really hard to do.
Well, they didn't have control, and the skis were long. They were not parabolic, and it was just a different technology. People don't realize how it's been smoothed out with all the new stuff that has been developed since then. I also did a little hunting with sage hen hunting. Shot a few sage hens and rabbits.
In Jackson?
I'm sorry, no, this is back in Casper.
Back in Casper, okay.
Yeah.
During wintertime or summer or when?
In the fall and the wintertime usually.
Who would you go hunting
Fall,
with?
Well, who did I go fishing with? The guys in the office there. We'd sometimes go over to the Middle Fork of the Powder River and from above the Barcy Ranch, we'd go down into the Outlaw Canyon and had pretty good fishing for brown trout. They were not jumbo size, but they were frequent enough. It was interesting. There's a lot of exertion that going down in the canyon and coming back out. Nothing ever happened to note going up and down. I started tying flies for trout about that time. I read something from, I don't know, one of the outdoor magazines, probably Ted Trueblood, who had a column in one of the outdoor magazines. And I used muskrat fur to make a nymph, big nymph, indiscreet nymph, which caught some fish.
Where did you
Later
get the
on.
muskrat fur?
Huh?
Where did you get the muskrat fur?
Oh, at a fly tying establishment.
Okay.
I've been tying some flies ever since I was a little kid, mostly all self-taught. Anyway, Middle Fork of the Powder River was a good place. It was not too far from that place I think I talked about early on when I was in Rangeley. We went to the Red Fork of the Powder River, which comes in north of there. But this Middle Fork is south of the Red Fork. The Red Fork comes into the Middle Fork, as a matter of fact. What else did I do then?
Did you ever miss home? Did you miss Tulsa?
Yeah, some. Not too much. There's always something to do up there. We'd sometimes, I know when I lived in Salt Creek, we'd go Thursday night. This was back when my first stay there when I was living at Salt Creek in Midwest Wyoming. Bob Ryan and Tom Huron myself and a few other fellows would sometimes just drive into Casper, which was 42 miles for dinner. And we'd go to Smorgasbord at the Henning Hotel, which is where we'd usually go. And we thought it was real good. They had a lot of Swedish, kippered herring and stuff like that. Of course, that was back in the Rangeley days. Drinking came in pretty strongly in Casper. It was easy to find a drink there. We used to go to the Club 114, which is right near the main intersection in downtown Casper, intersection of 2nd and I can't think of the other street downtown that we intersected, but 114 Club, it was 114. That was the address of it. They had entertainment there. Usually a guy playing a guitar or something like that.
What was the work like in Casper?
And I was working as reservoir engineer doing reserve work on different fields.
Were you in an office or outside?
It was in the office.
Mm-hmm. Did you spend long days in the office? At a desk? What was it like?
Yeah, sitting at a desk usually.
Was it hard for you to sit all day?
No. I liked it. I shared an office for a good while with Dick Rouse. He's another junior petroleum engineer.
Where was he from?
Well, Dick was from western Wyoming.
I don't even know.
You're not supposed to do that if you're not stuck
It's west of Rock Springs, near the Hams Fork. It's the town where Penny's got started, the retail stores. That me?
That's you. So, I wanted to ask you what your thoughts are on creating a career.
Creating a career.
Yeah, like a life. What do you think about having a career? How do you create one? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, you have to do something you want to do. You don't want to do. You like to do. And you have to have a little experience for that. You have to have some experience to know what you really want to do. You just can't be a fireman unless you know what a fireman does. Mm-hmm. So you have to learn about it. And I think that probably the most important thing is that you're going to get some reward for it, and that it'll satisfy you that you're doing good stuff, stuff that needs to be done. And that's the main thing. You don't want to work too hard, but you want to have to work hard. You want to like it well enough so that you work hard, and that you spend overtime if you need to. You have to like it enough to do that.
Mm-hmm. So, for you, did you always know that you wanted to be a petroleum engineer? Or?
I thought I did. I thought that was all young men in Tulsa, Oklahoma wanted to do.
Yeah.
Go to TU and be a petroleum engineer. I thought that was a normal thing to do.
And do you feel like it's something that you've enjoyed, or?
Yeah, I've enjoyed it all the time.
That's great.
I wasn't good as a student, but I enjoyed it. I liked to find out what was going on.
Did you ever think that maybe you wanted to do something else, or were you always satisfied?
Oh, I've thought about it, but not very much. I know I didn't. No, I know I did not want to be a baker. I worked in bakeries too much, I guess, maybe. And Dad found that it's not such a good thing to do for an independent, for a guy as an independent, unless you can get the bakery up big enough to be important on the world, on the scale of the world.
Yeah.
My dad had the right idea to go to a technical school to learn how to be a baker, although he knew how to bake from his father's bake shop in St. Louis. But he still knew that you had to know more than that to be a success as a wholesale baker. So he decided to learn, and he did. He went to trade school and learned how to bake bread by formulas. And I remember he had a scale, a little very accurate scale that he used to test flour. He tested it and for the ash and stuff like that, and whether or not it arose. And had several other tests for it, and they didn't give him any bad flour. He'd had experience with bad flour that come to his father had bought, I'm sure, and he didn't like to get into any bad flour. Bread's mainly flour and water, with a few other things in there to make it rise and stuff.
Do you think that it's best to just choose one thing and go all the way with it, or is it better to try different things?
Well, if you choose something and you find out you don't really want to go down that road anymore, you better change pretty quick if you can.
Right.
That's why it's always best to be single when you're starting out,
It's a good.
so you don't have somebody else telling you what to do. And it's when you have a. I was always blessed with having my wife always didn't give me any advice on what I should be doing in my business. And I gave her no cause to complain about me or bitch at me.
So you named your oil company Marjo.
Marjo.
Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Marjo, well, after I'd been up to Wyoming and came back here and worked for Kepling and Wanamaker for about 5 years, and I worked with Joe Wanamaker and Arnold Brown for 3 or 4 years, and I decided I wanted to go out on my own. So I left them and went to work partly for Kaiser Francis, and then I left them and went on my own after I worked for Kaiser Francis.
How long were you with Kaiser Francis for?
Hmm?
How long were you with Kaiser Francis for?
Oh, a couple of years. I worked for Herman, father, and George, the son.
How was that experience?
That was good. Very, 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 very pleasant. I was the first technical guy outside the family.
Yeah. So then you went and started Marjo.
Then I started Marjo. As I just was independent, and then I had to have a name to use, so I called it Marjo Oil Company.
Were you afraid to start your own thing, or?
No, I had been pretty well solo, making my own living for a good while.
And how old were you when you started that?
Well, let me see. I don't know exactly how old I was. I was about 35 or 40, I guess.
Okay.
Now I'm 86.
The company's been around for a while.
Well, I have been around for a while, and it's getting more disorganized though as time goes on.
Gotta get someone in here and get it all wrapped up in shape.
Huh?
We've got to get someone in here to help you get organized.
Well, yeah, that would be good, but then I'd get organized, I'd have to work again.
Okay. So why did you name the company Marjo?
Company Marjo, well, that was Marie and Joe Mueller. That was the name of it, M-A-R-J-O.
Did you see it as a partnership, kind of, with
Have
Marie?
I had other partnerships?
No. Just why did you feel like you wanted to use your name and Grandma's name?
Well, I just thought it was just a good name.
Yeah.
It was, I didn't know of any other name like that was an oil company or anything, any name,
Mhm.
a bread company or anything like that.
I think it's very sweet.
Hmm?
It's very sweet.
Well, it seemed to work okay.
I think it did.
I have several companies named Marjo now. Marjo Operating Company, Marjo Oil Company.
And where all do you guys have operations?
We have operations here in Oklahoma and Kansas and some in Texas. And we do some, well, we look at stuff all over. We have some stuff in North Dakota
Okay.
in the recent play up there in the northern part of North Dakota and the, what do you call it? I forget the name of the play.
Oh. I think I know what you're talking about. I can't remember either. Okay. So how important do you think work is?
Work is? Well,
Yeah.
work's the main thing you're going to do, so it better be important.
Yeah.
If you don't like to work, you won't make it very important, I don't think. But if you like it, it will be important to you.
So do you think that you like to work? That's something that's,
I like to do, yeah, and I think I know what I'm doing, so I like to do it. But
yeah.
it's kind of, it keeps changing all the time. You have to learn new stuff, and I don't learn new stuff so quickly anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of getting out of the mainstream of petroleum engineering and geology.
Yeah. I think my follow-up question is, why do you think that some people like to work more than other people? Is it ambition or drive, or what drives you to want to work?
Well, it allows you to accomplish what you want to accomplish. You have to have something to accomplish when you have a job. When you work, you have to be able to direct it towards something to accomplish, some goal that you have to do,
Mm-hmm.
and make money, be profitable, and hopefully give something to your children.
Is that what were your goals? What for you personally was it that drove you to want to work? What did you want to achieve?
I just wanted to do something that I needed to be done, so I knew how to do.
Simple.
You have to enjoy it, like making movies.
But did you have like any goals you felt like in your life that work was going to help you accomplish?
Well, that's supported myself and my family.
So family was important.
Yeah, it was important. Yes, of course it was important. And it allowed me to have time with my family. I did not have a lack of time for my family. I realize now that I didn't see the kids too much. I was so busy working that I sometimes missed some things. But your mother, your grandmother rather, she kept me going, that took care of the kids. And just allowed me to do things. We used to go on vacations, for instance. And a couple of them I worked through the night and got up in the morning, and everybody got loaded and we drove to Colorado or wherever it was we were going. And the first night was, I got a real good sleep. But I work real hard and we take off and we go for a vacation. I enjoyed those so much.
Yeah. What did you like about the vacations?
About vacations?
Yeah.
No, we were usually outside. Went up to Montana, Wyoming and Montana. Had vacations like that. We went down to the ocean near Beaumont, and on the coast of Texas. That was the first ocean I'd ever seen, on the coast of Texas. And no, that wasn't the first ocean I'd ever seen. I saw another ocean before when I went over the Pacific to Korea.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got drafted after I'd been married and working out in the field. No, I didn't. I had not got married.
You had just fallen in
I was
love.
working out, and I got married after I got out of the service. Went in the service, and I met my wife Marie. Gene Rowe introduced us. That was a blind date. And when I came home I was spending some time in Tulsa before I was going to go overseas, and he had a blind date fixed up with me with Marie Page.
Yeah. What did you think about Grandma when you met her?
Well, I thought she was beautiful, and we got along very good. And I told Mother that I wanted to marry her and her court her for me while I was going overseas. And she and Dad used to take me out to dinner and stuff like that.
Nice.
They used to take her out to dinner and stuff like that while I was overseas. And I wrote her about every day.
Yeah. Did you miss her while you were in Korea?
Oh yeah.
How did you know that you wanted to marry Grandma?
Well, she was just a nice girl, and I understood her. We could talk. And she liked me. I'd had other girlfriends, but none of them were serious. Most of them got married on me.
They got married before you?
Yeah.
How old were you when you got married?
Oh, I was about 25, I think. 25, 26.
Okay. You were younger than I thought you were when you got married.
Well, let me see, what time did we get married? We were married in 57. And I was born in 1929, so 57, so that's 29 plus 21 is 00. Is 29 plus 29 from 50 is 21.
Yeah, so
And
29.
50 plus 7 is 28.
Yeah, 28.
28 then.
Okay. Okay. And was Grandma the same age as you, or was she younger?
Yeah, she was about 3 months younger than me. Her
Okay.
birthday came on December 19th. Mine was September 9th.
Okay.
She went to Central High School in Tulsa. And I went to Cash. I didn't know her in school.
Mm-hmm. Is Central High School still around?
Yeah, yes, they moved it from over here
Uh-huh.
over to the road that goes out to Sand Springs.
Okay. What does love mean to you?
Love means to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a tricky word.
Mm-hmm.
Love means that you well, there's all sorts of different love. For your wife and the children, it's a little bit different. It's a sexual attraction, of course, for your wife, and the children. That's the attraction of you and your wife reflected in your children.
Mm-hmm.
What was the question again?
What does love mean to you?
And yeah, there's the love that we learn in the Bible, Jesus. That's the main thing, I think, that you do something that you won't regret, and that's pretty important. The older you get, the more you think of that. Usually.
Why do you think that is? You think about it more as you get older.
Well, because you're going to die someday, you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. So some fear.
What?
You said so there's like some fear involved.
Oh, well, not really. I remember I could never conceive of anybody wanting to die, committing suicide. I just couldn't see that. I never felt that I felt so low that I wanted to not live, and I don't think I wanted to die, but I knew I was going to. Somehow I knew I was going to.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that now. And I see myself, my physical body wearing out, and the body starts out changing, and it grows and it starts deteriorating. As soon as it starts growing, it starts deteriorating and wearing out.
Yeah.
So, by the time you get to be 80, 85, you should see that you're wearing out. You can't do as much as you used to. So, you're going to go through a cycle that everybody's gone through and they died. And that's an interesting thing to watch that.
Right.
And I'm trying to learn more about it. And I don't want to die, but I want to take care of myself so I can interrupt these bad cycles and keep on living. But I realize I'm wearing out, and I can't live forever, no matter how much I am.
Yeah.
And when people die, they just wear out. One of the big things to do before they're going to die, they start breathing less oxygen, getting less oxygen in the blood. And where you don't have 95% of the oxygen, of 95% of the capacity that your blood can carry, it starts going down and down, gets down to 70 or 60%, you're going to die pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sign that you're going to die pretty soon.
Do you feel afraid of death?
No, I don't think. I'm a little apprehensive about it. I don't know how it's going to happen.
Right.
And you get older, you stop dropping doing the things that you thought you've been lucky to not, they didn't take you yet. Like, I never got involved riding a motorcycle because I turned out I was scared of them. I had seen that so many motorcyclists get killed. Okay, don't have any control of the car once it gets disrupted. And you're loose from a machine, and nothing you can do but die if it wrecks sometime. And that's what happened when you go out in water in a boat that you shouldn't. I've skipped death by going out in boats, fought that off, and I'm much more careful about doing that than I used to be. But I lived through it, so I know how to handle myself on a boat. When not to get out in a boat on a lake or go into rough water and not be able to handle it. I've learned to be very cautious about things because I have evaded death all this time.
So do you believe in an afterlife?
Yes.
And what do you think that's like?
What
does it look like to you?
I don't have any idea what it's going to be like.
Yeah.
I can't envision it, but I think that there's something there. If I didn't have any religion, I might not think that, but I do.
Yeah. Has religion always been really important to you, or has religion always been a big part of your life, or has it changed or
Well, it's got
fluctuated?
more important as time goes on. Yeah, I went to Catholic schools all my life, and got a lot of instruction, and I was an altar boy. And
Oh, let's pause 1 second. I gotta start a new one. Keep going.
okay, keep on.
Yeah.
I realize that we were talking about
Religion.
religion. I realize I don't know what is going to happen, what the nature of this hereafter is, but I believe that it will be completely happy. There won't be anything if I'm successful, and without God, if I don't succeed and I'm not with God after I die, it's going to be a pretty long time.
I think you'll be with God.
Huh?
I think you will be with God.
Well, I hope so. We got it figured.
I think so. Okay. So do you want to talk a little bit more about family and what...
About family?
Yeah, and what... Just talk to me about family.
Talk to you about family. Well, I think it's important for people to have a continuing relationship with family. Some of them, I talk to some people that haven't seen a brother or sister for years and years and years. I think it's sad that one of them doesn't go visit the other one once in a while. My son Fred just was in town with me here for 3 days. He came to visit from California. And I went to Mass with him, and we had breakfast with the guys, and they all commented that they wished that their sons would come to town more often, visit them in town. They sometimes go to visit their families, but the family doesn't come visit them. They don't. I know when I quit Amico and went back to Tulsa, I was going because I was spending all my vacations in Tulsa. when I wanted to spend the vacations in Wyoming, in the mountains and stuff like that. You know, I rationalized that if I moved to Tulsa, I could take all my vacations in Wyoming or stuff like that. So I moved to Tulsa, and what happened? I started taking my vacations in Texas,
Why Texas?
because that's where the beach was.
Oh.
They discovered the beaches.
Did you have fun? Did you have fun at the beach in Texas?
Oh yeah, every day was different on the beach. Florida and Texas, the weather was different. The stuff you saw on the water was different. Every vacation was different. One time we had vacation in the Panhandle, Florida, near Destin, and the main thing that happened, the only thing I remember about it was that there was a whole bunch of water sprouts out there. And we'd look out in the water and see about 5 water sprouts dipping down at the same time. I talked to people, and nobody else, people I talked to up there, they didn't see any water sprouts. They didn't notice them anyway. Another time the beaches were filled up with crabs. You couldn't even walk on the beach without stepping on a crab. And we ate the crabs. We collected them and boiled them and just ate them. Broke them open and ate them. Had several meals out of those crabs.
Sounds yummy.
And another time, they had different kinds of seaweed come in, the green kind, and all different kinds of seaweed come into the beaches and settle out on the beaches. And next day, the high water tide would take them out to sea, and they deteriorate that way. It was always different. The ocean was changing and different every day. Sometimes it was cool, sometimes it was hot as could be.
What's the most beautiful place that you've ever been?
Oh, I suppose up in Wyoming, the mountains.
Which area?
Hmm?
Which area?
One of the areas I really liked was up on the ridge between in the north part of Yellowstone National Park, northeast corner of Yellowstone National Park, and called the Cook City route. Cook City is not in the national park, but it's just outside the park, and there's a road there that travels for above timberline for about 40 miles. I thought that was one of the most interesting places I'd ever been.
Why was it interesting?
Well, it was different. It was just wild. It was above timberline. There's rocks and stuff. You get out. That was just the way it'd been forever. That's all you could see. And I had the girls with me, the family and Fred.
So you guys had fun on vacation together?
Oh yeah, we had always had fun on vacation. One time in Yellowstone, I got up and went fishing early in the morning with some guys on the river, and I didn't catch anything. But I come back to the camp we had. We was living in a tent at the time, and I came back and people were in the tent all buckled up, and bear had been in the camp, and they got on our table that we had there in the campground, and he got in our box of chickens. I bought some chickens I brought up from Wyoming. We were gonna have chicken that night. And they got into the chickens in the cooler and ate all them. So we didn't have any more chickens left. And I finally came into camp and somebody had already scared the bear away, but anyway, that was one of the big events for that time.
So you like camping quite a bit?
Yeah, I like to do it. It was cheap, and Marie would put up with it. She didn't like the primitive of it much, but she put up with it. A lot of women would not do that, least bit. And others of course, go ape about it and want to go backpacking too. I did take the kids and Marie backpacking one time in Wyoming. We went up to this lake that we fished in. It was everybody went up, and it was almost more than I could do, but we did. Everybody got tired.
Was it a day hike or?
No, we stayed all night.
Okay. Sounds nice.
And came down. I went up twice. I took two different crowds up. Half of them one time and the other half another time.
Okay.
Back to back.
Wow. You were in good shape.
Well, I wasn't as near good shape as I should have been in. I got blisters on my feet and everything else that could go wrong for not. I thought I was out of shape, but I wasn't. I was just not in the mountain shape, really. I've been sitting around too much at the house. Shows you that you have to prepare for stuff before you do it.
Right.
If you're going to walk, you have to walk before. If you're going to ride a bike, you have to ride a bike before you do it. Well, after Marie died, a couple of months afterwards, Ken Bruni asked me if I wanted to go to the bike ride, Ragbri. That's the Register's annual Great Bike Ride across Iowa, Ragbri. I said I would, so I used the extra bike he had. And I got out there and started riding it. I rode it a little bit beforehand, but not very much. A couple days we went out for a little bike ride. And I didn't ride. You didn't have to ride every day on the bike ride. You could get picked up and get carried in. And I got picked up and carried in a couple of times.
Mm-hmm. Did you enjoy that ride?
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
How long was it? How many days were you out?
It was 7 days. Start on Sunday and goes to next Saturday.
Sounds really neat.
Yeah, it was. It was a well-run thing. And the law, they had places to eat, tents. People set up tents, sell hot dogs, stuff like that. And there's places to do things and stop in towns and drink some beers. Some of them stopped in some towns and got a little bit rowdy, and the law told them to leave and don't stop again. And they watched them when they came back. Well, they didn't come back, but they watched them. They didn't want them messing up, making too much a scene of themselves. We stayed in motels. One guy drove